The courtroom chaos didn't end when the judge banged the gavel. It exploded on the pavement outside moments later. In a moment that sent shockwaves through social media and rocked hip-hop circles, Remy Ma was caught on tape, physically attacking the daughter of her alleged victim, all because the young woman did the unthinkable. She spit on Remy's son. That one disrespectful act was enough to trigger a wild, emotional brawl that had everyone screaming, scrambling, and filming. Now, footage is everywhere and people are divided. Was this a mother protecting her child? Or a woman unraveling, under pressure as court battles and betrayals stack up around her? Either way, the internet is on fire, and the courtroom is no longer the only place where Remy Ma's life is on trial. This is more than just a fight. It's a moment that may forever define Remy's public image and possibly her legal future. Let's break it all down from the incident in court to the spit heard around the world and the violent aftermath that left everyone in shock. It was supposed to be a routine court appearance, or at least that's what everyone thought. But nothing about Remy Ma's life has been routine lately, with drama brewing in every direction, from legal pressure to betrayal rumors to a strained marriage with Papoose. The court appearance quickly spiraled into one of the most explosive public meltdowns we've seen in years. And the cameras were rolling. The day started with chaos outside the courthouse. Dozens of media outlets had already gathered, anticipating a major development in the ongoing case involving Remy and a victim tied to a violent incident months back. Rumors swirled that key testimony was going to be delivered, possibly exposing new details about Remy's involvement or even her son's alleged role. Remy arrived looking tense but composed, dressed in all-black, sunglasses on, his jaw clenched. The rapper didn't say a word to reporters as she made her way into the building, flanked by her legal team and close family. Among them was her teenage son, looking visibly shaken by the swarm of flashing cameras and shouting voices. Inside the courtroom, the tension was thick. Reporters noted that the family of the alleged victim was seated directly behind Remy's camp. Whispers, eye rolls, and sharp stares were exchanged throughout the hearing. It was a volatile mix, and everyone could feel it building. But no, one expected it to erupt the way it did. The court proceedings themselves were short. A key witness failed to show, so the judge postponed testimony and rescheduled for a later date. But just as people began filing out, that's when the real show began. It started with a sharp, muffled exchange between Remy Ma and a young woman believed to be the daughter of the victim. No microphones picked up the words, but body language told the story. Pure venom that the young woman stepped forward, breaking from her family and stood face to face with Remy's son. She said something that caused his expression to completely shift. Seconds later, she did the unthinkable. She spit directly in his face. Gasps echoed through the hallway. Security reached for their radios. Reporters scrambled to pull out phones. And then before anyone could stop her, Remy Ma lunged. She didn't scream. She didn't hesitate. She went straight for the girl like a switch had flipped inside her. In that moment, she wasn't Remy Ma the rapper. She wasn't Remy Ma the reality TV star. She was a mother, and someone had just assaulted her child. The girl tried to duck, but it was too late. Remy's open hand cracked across her face, sending the girl stumbling back. Chaos broke out instantly. Screams, shouts, bodies rushing in to separate them. Security grabbed Remy's arms and tried to restrain her. The girl's relatives swarmed in yelling threats. Papoose, who had shown up late and was still outside, rushed in yelling her name, trying to break through the crowd. Phones captured it all, in multiple angles. From the initial spit, to the slap, to Remy shouting, "Don't you ever touch my son," as she was being dragged back, and just like that, the footage went viral. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like #Remy Ma, #courtroom brawl, and #protect your kids trended across platforms. The internet divided instantly. Some fans praised Remy for defending her child, saying any real parent would have reacted the same way. Others accused her of losing control and crossing the line, especially in front of the court. One commenter wrote, "She should have let security handle it. Now she just gave the DA more ammo." Another said, "Nah, that girl spit on her son. I don't care who you are, spit is an act of war." Meanwhile, legal experts began weighing in. Several noted that spitting on someone is legally considered assault in many states. If proven, it could shift the narrative in Remy's favor, especially if her team frames her actions as a defensive, emotional response to an unprovoked attack on her minor child. But others weren't so sure. The video also shows Remy pursuing the girl after the spit, which could make her look like the aggressor in the eyes of the court. And with her history, including her past conviction and prison sentence, prosecutors might argue she should have known better by the time Remy was escorted into a private vehicle and driven away from the courthouse. The damage had already been done, not just in terms of legal consequences, but in the public eye. She now had a new scandal, and this one involved her son. Later that evening, shaky video taken from inside the courthouse hallway surfaced. It captured the victim's daughter taunting Remy's son before the spit, saying things like, "Your mama can't save you from what's coming." This detail shifted the conversation again. Some argued that the girl clearly instigated the entire incident and that Remy's reaction, while extreme, was rooted in protection. Others still blamed Remy for letting emotions override judgment. Meanwhile, Remy's team released a short statement that night. "Reminisce is a mother before anything else. What took place today was an unfortunate escalation sparked by an act of assault against her child. We are reviewing legal options and remain committed to protecting her family and her rights." The victim's family, however, was furious. They claimed Remy had physically assaulted an innocent woman and vowed to press charges. The daughter reportedly suffered bruising and minor injuries but was not hospitalized. Insiders say this new incident could have serious consequences. Remy was already walking on thin ice with the court. Any new charges, especially those involving violence, could complicate her existing case or even land her back in legal jeopardy. But as always with Remy Ma, the legal drama is only half the story. What this fight really exposed was just how fragile everything around her has become, and how close she is to breaking. This wasn't just a scuffle. This was a cry from a woman whose entire world seems to be collapsing in public. And it's only the beginning. As more angles of the incident surfaced, things got even more complicated. One clip taken from the opposite end of the hallway showed something even more damning. Remy's son wiping his face in shock, backing away in tears, while Remy, still restrained, tried to break free and lunged again. This time, her security detail was able to hold her back, but her rage was undeniable. Another video caught audio of Remy shouting, "You think that's funny? You think disrespecting my baby's gonna end good for you?" This added a whole new layer to public opinion. To some, she looked like a lioness protecting her cub. To others, she looked like someone who had lost complete control. And that could be dangerous in a legal setting. The fallout from the courthouse incident didn't take long to reach a boiling point. Within 24 hours, the footage had aired on nearly every major news outlet, from TMZ to CNN. Legal analysts, hip-hop commentators, and public opinion influencers were all chiming in on what they witnessed. But as the world debated Remy Ma's intent, the authorities were already taking action behind the scenes by the morning after the incident. The victim's daughter had officially filed charges. According to the statement given to police, it's claimed that Remy Ma attacked without warning, causing physical injury and severe emotional trauma. The language in the report was clearly tailored to establish Remy as the sole aggressor. And insiders say her legal team wasn't surprised. They were already preparing for what they believed was a planned provocation, designed to bait Remy into exactly the kind of response that played out in front of dozens of cameras. Meanwhile, Remy's son, the true victim in many fans' eyes, stayed completely silent. He didn't issue any public statement, and neither did his father, Papoose. But friends close to the family revealed that the teen was deeply shaken. Not just by the spit or the fight, but by the idea that his mother might now be facing more legal trouble because of something done to protect him in an exclusive sit-down with a podcast host. One of Remy's closest friends dropped a major bombshell. This wasn't no random act. That girl's family came there to start something. They knew the cameras were going to be there. They wanted to make Remy look bad, and it worked. Claims sparked even more division online. Some people believed it wholeheartedly, pointing out how perfectly the footage served the other side. But others weren't convinced, saying that no matter the setup, Remy still made the choice to strike. Now, the DA's office had a choice too. Would they pursue criminal charges based solely on the video? Or would they wait for additional testimony? As pressure mounted, Remy's lawyer released a second statement that confirmed what many had speculated. We are filing for a motion to dismiss based on self-defense and the provable assault on Remy Ma's minor child. We ask the public and the press to withhold judgment until all evidence is reviewed. That legal language was calculated. By emphasizing self-defense and minor child, they were building a narrative that any parent could understand. But behind closed doors, things were more tense than anyone realized. Sources close to the DA said they were furious that Remy Ma had once again made headlines for violence, especially after previously cutting a deal to avoid jail in a separate case just a few years ago. With this new fight being caught on camera and with public interest peaking, prosecutors feared looking weak if they didn't act swiftly, so they acted. 3 days after the courthouse fight, Remy Ma was officially charged with misdemeanor assault and disturbing the peace. While those charges don't carry long prison sentences, they do come with heavy fines, probation, most importantly, a lasting blow to her reputation. But even that wasn't the worst of it. A separate civil suit was filed by the victims, family claiming mental anguish, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and, shockingly, damages to future earnings. They alleged that the daughter was now afraid to attend school, had developed anxiety, and needed therapy. The total monetary amount they were seeking, $2.5 million. Remy's camp laughed off the number in private. But they knew the civil suit was a serious problem. Even if the criminal case didn't stick, the financial blow could be massive. And in an era where court battles are often won in the court of public opinion, Remy needed to do something fast. So she turned to her fan base. She went live on Instagram, face bare, wearing a hoodie and sitting beside her son. She didn't cry, she didn't yell. She spoke clearly. Y'all saw what happened. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I ain't react. I did. I reacted as a mother. When you see someone spit on your child you don't think you protect. And that's what I did. Her son remained silent, but his eyes were glossy. The pain was visible. The moment was real. That live stream broke the internet. Over 3 million views in under 24 hours. Thousands of supportive comments poured in from celebrities, fans, and fellow mothers. Cardi B commented, "Ain't no way I'd stand there if that was culture. You did what any mama would do." Even Nicki Minaj, who has had her share of beef with Remy in the past, liked a post about the video with the caption, "Sometimes real ones react." But while the internet debated, Remy's lawyers were busy preparing for the next court date. They planned to present all available footage, witness statements, and even expert testimony on trauma and the psychology of parental protection. 1. Of their secret weapons? A security guard from the courthouse who had reportedly witnessed the entire exchange and was willing to testify that the victim's daughter instigated the situation. That testimony could change everything. But the opposing side wasn't backing down either. They began painting Remy as a repeat offender, someone who had a pattern of violent behavior. And they unearthed old footage, interviews, and headlines. To support their case, they even pulled up an old Love and Hip Hop clip where Remy had once said, "When I feel disrespected, I black out." That line, meant for TV drama, was now being presented as evidence of a dangerous mindset. It was clear this wasn't going to be a short legal battle. It was war. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the impact on Remy's family was enormous. Papoose, who had always stood by her, was reportedly urging her to settle the case to avoid dragging their son through more public pain. But Remy was conflicted. Settling would feel like an admission of guilt. And she didn't believe she did anything wrong. As the media frenzy continued, new voices joined the conversation. Activists debated whether Remy was being unfairly targeted because of her past. Legal experts questioned whether the court would consider provocation as a real defense. And everyday people, parents especially, kept asking themselves, asterisk, what would I have done? Asterisk, the next hearing was set for 2 weeks later. Cameras were guaranteed, protesters were expected. And Remy Ma's future personal, professional, and legal was hanging in the balance. This wasn't just about a slap anymore. It was about power, protection, and the price of defending your child when the whole world is watching. The tension was so thick, you could slice it with a blade. The day of the big court showdown had finally arrived, and the whole world was watching. Outside the courtroom, it looked more like a red carpet event than a legal proceeding. Protesters, fans, media crews, all standing shoulder-toed up, waiting for that one glimpse of Remy Ma walking in. Some held signs, "Protect Black Mothers." Justice for all, not just the rich. Spit is assault too. Remy stepped out of a sleek black SUV like she was walking into battle. Her hair tied back, dressed in a dark pantsuit, minimal makeup, all business. No smile, no wave. Her team flanked her like a protective wall, and Papoose was nowhere in sight. This time, her son wasn't present. After the emotional toll from the last incident, Papoose insisted it was better he stay home, according to a close family source. Papoose had said he's already gone through enough. Let him be a kid today. Inside the courtroom, the atmosphere was icy. The prosecution came ready to paint Remy Ma as a public menace who can't control her temper. They kicked things off by replaying the now viral footage on the courtroom screen that slap caught in 4,000 from multiple angles. They froze it, zoomed in, played it again in slow motion. Over and over, highlighting Remy's posture, her eyes, her body language. One clip even had the audio enhanced so everyone could hear her scream, "Don't you ever touch my son." Prosecution then built their case piece by piece. They presented her criminal history, her past incarceration for a shooting, her documented outbursts, even clips from Love and Hip Hop where she said things like, "When I feel disrespected, I black out." It was brutal. They were building a narrative, Remy Ma as the aggressor, the repeat offender. The woman who simply doesn't learn, but the defense came with a different story. One that turned heads. Remy's lawyer started simple. What would you do if someone spit on your child? He didn't need theatrics. He had evidence, a calm voice, and, most importantly, a surprise witness. The courthouse security guard. The guard testified that he saw the entire interaction unfold. According to his sworn statement, the victim's daughter walked straight toward Remy's son and began yelling. He confirmed the moment she spit in the boy's face and testified that Remy reacted instinctively. That testimony shook the courtroom. Then came the psychologist. She wasn't there to excuse violence, but to explain it. She introduced the concept of amygdala hijack, the brain's fight-or-flight response when it senses a threat. Especially when a parent sees their child attacked. The response bypasses logic. It's not calculated. It's primal, she explained.